The only other thing I wanted to talk to you about was termination of pregnancy.
Sure. Now, I believe it's a choice up to a certain, there would have to be a certain amount of weeks and things like that. I did say to Eamon Gilmore, look, I have difficulties not supporting Claire Daly then.
Okay.
And so we went to the Attorney General. Now, he said to me, look, don't do anything like going in there and voting for it against the party, right? Because he said there are an awful lot of people in Fine Gael that when it does come back, the expert group comes back and it's going to propose and legislate and we have to, in the European court, we have to legislate. And when the legislation is drawn up, the Labour Party will be 100% behind it. Fine Gael will not be 100% behind it.
Okay.
And this is what Eamon said to me, if you break ranks now, it'll leave it open in time for the Fine Gael Party. When it does come back and we have the wording right and it is constitutionally okay, they will say, well look, some of the Labour Party broke ranks. But you can be absolutely assured of our commitment, because it's like people hate change in any form, but we get the first part done and then we will go on to the next bit. We will do it. I made it quite clear to our leadership that if we don't even get the first part done in this term, in this 5-year term, only 4 years left, I will leave the Labour Party. I really feel that strongly about it. So I have commitments that it will be done, and then we will just keep working away.
And do you think, what would happen if the expert group doesn't come back and say we have to legislate?
They will come back. Now, you see, they will come back, but they will come back saying, something like, point, this is what we are recommending the legislation on. Now, the government can take that or leave it. I can't see them being brave enough to come back and say, okay, we think that it's every woman's right to choose or something like that. It will purely be on the terms of reference. Minister Riley is very supportive. There'll be other people in Fine Gael, and I say Enda Kenny is but Eamon said to me that he's told Enda Kenny that he has to whip his people into line.
And are you confident that it will? Okay.
I'm confident certainly that the first bit will be done this time.
Okay.
And then it's really keep working then.
Yeah.
I will go out and I'll drink the largest bottle of champagne on the night that this referendum passes. But no, definitely it will.
Is there any risk that they would come back
No.
and say, don't legislate?
No, because we have to. I think they're just trying to come up with what we need to legislate on. And, because we've been told by the European Court that we have to legislate. And, so therefore we have to legislate. So in a sense, I think what James Riley did, referred it to the expert group and almost, not to distance himself, but slightly to distance himself.
Yeah.
Rather than say his department having to come up with a wording, it won't be directly at James Riley introducing abortion in Ireland.
Say if they recommend legislation and the legislation is passed, do you think it will be? After that, would Labour be able to introduce to expand that?
Well, we certainly will. Well, we will do our best, but again, we would certainly keep agitating for it.
How realistic do you think it would be that there could be more legislation? Because
I think if we, as I say to people, if we had more Labour TDs in there and let's say Fine Gael TDs in there, we'd get more of our policies through. And, and we will, but I wouldn't say it'll happen this term.
So hopefully, I suppose then, it seems like if the expert group should come back and say, and then if they don't, will Labour bring in a bill?
Oh, we will bring in our own bill.
If they don't come back?
We will bring in our own bill.
Okay.
Definitely bring in our own bill. I promise you that.
Okay.
That's one thing, and I don't make promises, but I promise you this, we will. We definitely will.
Okay.
And then let's watch, see what the other party in government does.
There was something else I wanted to ask you about, and especially in the last few days, I've I'm thinking about it again, just about termination of pregnancy. There's a lot of posters in town about it right now.
In the last week of the election again, I went to one road and I think every second house went to said never vote in favour abortion. Vote against Claire Daly's bill because it was written on the back of an envelope. But we have a political problem that we need to bring. We need to get 76 odd Fine Gael TDs who are very anti-abortion to walk into Leinster House and vote for it. So how do you do that? You do it in a way that an expert group comes out and says, this and they can go back to their constituents. They can go to Mass on Sunday. They can stand outside Mass and say, well, you know, I did, but the extra group told us to do it.
And do you think it's realistic that there will be legislation?
No, yeah, there has to be. Oh, no, there will be. And we can't go back. And we can't look at our own members in the face. I can't look at my own family in the face, or my friends, or people who fight for this issue. I mean, Ivana Bacic is similar. Myself, here at Conway, there's many of us who, and even I remember we had a meeting and even Gilmore said, I don't like voting against this, but I know that in the end of the day, what we're doing actually results in it. You know, proper abortion legislation.
Okay. And if the expert group doesn't come back,
Oh, it has to.
well, I know it's going to report, but if it doesn't come back with like that
If it
option,
doesn't, Anne Ferris has said that she will introduce her own bill, and I said that I'll support her on it.
okay.
Anne Ferris is,
And would that be for just ABC and X?
it could be. I don't know what she's thinking, but it would be at least that, if not more.
Okay.
At least that, if not more, because that was her understanding. The party leader at the time says, okay, we'll vote down this bill, but if the expert group doesn't come back saying this, well, then we're going to introduce our own list. Somebody representing somewhere like Monaghan, well, my wife's from Monaghan, you start talking about abortion rights in Monaghan, and you know, you don't get very far.
Yeah.
Or Donegal or Mayo, or you know, the idea of being a good TD is that you go to Mass and you're a good Catholic, and you're against abortion, and you're you know, you don't believe in gay rights, and everything's fine. You know, I mean, I have to say, my wife's from Monaghan, and I go up there, and sometimes I just scratch my head at some of the just the latent homophobia. It's just the you know, it's bizarre. You think Irish society's moved on to such a degree. So unfortunately, the reality is that we have to give some comfort to government TDs and the syndicate outside to be able to walk into National House and vote for an abortion bill, which would be, in their minds, political suicide from where they're from. But the expert group is the way to do that. And they can't, but the expert group have to, because of the European case, because of the X case. I mean, we were told 20 years ago to legalise for it. So, I mean, it can't say anything but that. You know, it has to say ABC and X. And to me, if that's all it is, but it's a starting point. Once you get that, then you can move. And of course, if I'm on the radio and somebody says to me, it's a starting point for abortion on demand, I'm going to say no. Of course it isn't. It is what it is. But once you've established the
right,
then you know, maybe over a period of time, if Irish society changed its mind and have a more open-minded view on it. Okay. Once you establish the principle, well then maybe after a period of time we can get there. But I say this much: it's never going to happen unless Labour are in government. It's going to get more worried about the abortion issue than we are, you know. But on the abortion bill, stick with us. You know, we're going to get there.